It's very seldom that my ordinary people like Jen and myself secure ancestral halls for the summer. A colonial mansion in a hereditary state, I would say a haunted house, and there is the height of romantic felicity, but that would be asking too much of fate. Still, I proudly declare that there is something queer about it. Else, why should be so cheaply and have stood so long untainted? Jonah laughed at me, of course, but one expect in that marriage. John is a practical in the extreme. He has no patience with fate. In his sense of power superstition, and he has to scoff openly at any talk of things not to be felt and seen or put down in the figures. Jen is a physician, and perhaps I would say not this to a living soul, of course, but this is a dead paper and a great relief to my mind. Perhaps that's one reason I do not get well faster. You see, you do not believe I'm sick. And what can one do? A physician helps standing, and one's own husband assures friends and relatives that there is really nothing that matters but contemporary nervous depression. A slight hysterical tendency? What's one to do? My brother is also a physician and also high standing and says the same thing. So I take phosphate or phosphate, whichever it is, and tonics and journeys in air and exercise and absolutely forbidden to work until I'm well again. Personally, I disagree with their ideas. Personally, I believe that congenial work with excitement and change will do me good. But one is one to do. I didn't write for a while in spite of that, but this does exhaust me a good deal, having to be sly about it, or else meet with heavy opposition. Sometimes fancy that in my condition, if I had less opposition and more society and stimulus, what chances the very worst thing I can do is to think about my condition, and I confess it always makes me feel bad. So I will not alone in talks about the house. The most beautiful place. It's quite alone, standing well back from the road, quite 3 miles from the village. It makes me think English place that you read about, where there are hedge and walls and gates, the locks and lots of separate little houses for the gardeners and people. There's a delicious garden. I never saw such a garden, large and shady, full of box bordered pots and lined with a long grape cupboard and arbors with seeds under them. There were greenhouses too, but they are all broken now. There was some legal trouble, I believe, something about the heirs and co-heirs anyhow. The place has been empty for years. That's balls and the ghost lines. I am afraid, but I don't care. There is something strange about the house. I can feel it. I even said to John one moonlight evening, but he said what I thought was dropped and shut the window. I get unreasonably angry with John sometimes. I'm sure I never used to be so sensitive. I think it's due to nervous condition, but John says if I feel so I shall neglect proper self-control, so I take pains to control myself. Before him, at least, it does make me very tired. I don't like our room or bit. I wanted the downstairs that opened on the piazza and had roses over the window, and such a pretty, old-fashioned chintz hangings, but would be not hear of it. He said there was only one window and not room for the two beds, and a near room for him if he took another. He is a very careful and loving, and hardly lets me stay without special direction. I have scheduled prescription for each hour in a day. He takes all the care from me, and so I feel basically ungrateful not to value it more. He said we came here solely on my account that I was have perfect rest and all air I could get. Your exercise depends on your strength, my dear, said he, and your food somewhat on your appetite, but air you get absurd all the time. So we took the nursery at the top of the house. It's a big, airy room, the wall floor entirely, the windows that look always in the air and sunshine. Galore, it was a nursery first and the playground and gymnasium. I shall judge, for the windows are buried for the little children, and there are rings and the text in the wall. The paint and the paper looks as if boys' school had used it. It is true. Of the paper, in a great patches all around the head of my bed, about as far as I can reach in a great place on the other side of the room. Low down. I never saw worse paper in my life. One of those sprawling, flamboyant patterns committing every artistic sin. It is dull enough to confuse the eye and the following, pronounced enough to constantly irritate and provoke study, and when you follow the lame, uncertain curves for a little distance they suddenly commit suicide. Flash of the outrageous ankles destroy themselves in the unheard of conditions. The color is repellent, almost revolting, a smoldering, unclean yellow, strangely faded with a slow turning sunlight. It's a dull yet learned orange in some places, aesthetically so pretty in others. No wonder that you didn't hate it. I should hate myself if I had to live in the room long. There comes John, and I must put this way. He hates to have me write a word. We have been here 2 weeks and haven't liked writing before since the first day. I'm sitting by the window now, up in the stairs nursery, and there's nothing to hinder me writing as much as I please, save lack of strength. John is always all day, and even some nights when his cases are serious. I'm glad my case is not serious, but these nervous troubles are dreadfully distressing. John doesn't know how much I really suffer, and knows there is no reason to suffer and to satisfy him. Of course, it's only nervousness. It has no way of me to do not to duty anyway. I mean to be such a help to John, such a real rest and comfort, and here I'm a comparative burden already. Nobody would believe one effort is to do what a little I'm able to dress and entertain, and other things. It is fortunate Mary is so good with the baby, such a dear baby, and yet I cannot be with him, it makes me so nervous. I suppose John never was nervous in his life. He laughed at me about this wallpaper. At first he meant to repaper the room, but after already said that I was letting it get the better of me, and that nothing was worse for me nervous patient that could give me way to such a pants. He said that after wallpaper was changed it will be to heavy bedstead and a bird with the windows and a gate and a head of stairs and so on. You know the place is doing you good, he said, and really dear, I don't care it's corner to be the house just for 3 months rental. Then do let us go downstairs, I said. There is such a pretty rooms there. Then he took me in his arms and called me the blessed little goose, and said he will be gone to cellar, by which and a with wash was in the bargain. But he is right enough about the beds and the windows and things. It's airy and comfortable room, as anyone who need a wish, and of course, I will not be so silly as to make him uncomfortable just for a whim. I'm really getting quite terrified of the big room, all the horrid paper. Out of the one window, I can see the garden and those mysterious deep-shaded arbors and right trees, old-fashioned flowers, and a bush and narrow trees. Of another, I get lovely view in the bay and a little private park belonging to the state. There is a beautiful shaded lane and it runs down there from the house. And always fancy, I see the people walking this numerous path and arbors, but John has a caution not to give me the fancy and the least. He says that with my imaginative power and habit of story making, A nervous weakness like mine is sure to lead to all manner of sighted masses, and that I had to use my will good and sense to check the tendency, so I tried. I think sometimes that if I were only well enough to write a little, it would relieve the first ideas and rest me. But I find I get really tired when I try. It's so discouraging not to have any advice and companionship about my work. When I get really well, John insists we ask the cousin Harry and Julia down for a long visit. But he says he will be as soon put fireworks in a field case as to let me have those stimulating people about now. I wish I could get well faster, but I must not to think about that. This paper looks to me as if it know what the vicious influence it had. There is a recurrent spot where the pattern lost like a broken neck and a bulbous eye stare at the upside. I got positively angry with the impertinence of it in every lastingness. Up and down and sideways they roll in those absurd and blinking eyes are everywhere. There is one place where two the birds didn't match, and the eyes go up and down in the line one a little higher than the other. I never saw such a much expression in anything before, and we all know how much expression they have. I used to lie awake as a child and get more entertainment than stare at up the blank wall in plain furniture than the most children could find in Play Store. I remember what a kindly week the knobs our big old bureau used to have, and there was one chair that always seemed like a strong friend. I used to feel any of the other things look the fierce. I could always hope in the chair and be safe. The furniture in this room is no worse than inharmonious. However, for you have the being all downstairs. I suppose when this was used as playroom, they had to take a nursery things out of no wonder. I never saw such a ravages as the children have made here. The yellow wallpaper, as I said before, is a turn of spots and a city gets closer than a brother. They must have perseverance as well as hatred. Then the floor is scratched and the gut is splintered. The plaster is helped up out here and there, and this great heavy bed, which is only found this room. Look at it have been through the walls, but I don't mind it a bit, only the big one. Here comes Jan's sister, such a dear girl as she is, and so careful of me. I must not let her find me right. She is perfect and enthusiastic housekeeper and hopes for no better profession. I barely believe she thinks that she writing which made me sick, but I can write when she is out, and see her a long way of these windows. There is one that commands that road, a lovely, shaded, and winding road, and one that just look up over the country. A lovely country too, but full of great arms and a velvet middle. This wallpaper has a kind of pattern in a different shade, a particular irritating one, where you only want to see certain lights and not clearly light them. But it's a place where it does not fade, and the sun is just so. I guess it is rain provoking from Lester the Beaker that seemed to sulk about behind and sitting conspicuous from the sun. Your sister on the stairs. Well, the 4th of July is over. The people are all gone and I'm tired out. John thought me it might do is good a little company. So we just had mother and Nellie and the children talk for a week. Of course I don't do a thing. Ginny sees me everything now. But it tired me all the same time. John says I don't pick up faster. He shall send me to Weir Mitchell in the fall. But I don't want to go there at all. I had a friend who was in the house once, and she says he just like John and my brother, only more so. Besides, it's just an undertaking to go so far. I don't feel as if it was a word right to turn my hands over anything I'm getting dreadfully influenced. I cried nothing and cry most of the time. Of course, I don't when John is here or anybody else, but when I'm all alone, it's a good deal just now. John's kept in town very often by the serious cases, and John is a good and lets me alone when I want her to. So I walked out in the garden or down the Tulalib Lane, sit on the porch under the roses, and lie down a period and put till. I'm getting really fond of the room in spite of the wallpaper. Perhaps because of the wallpaper. It's got me in my mind so I lie here on this great immovable bed. It's a nail down. I believe and follow the pattern about by the hour. It's as good as gymnastic. I assure you. I start will sit at the bottom down in the corner of the door where it has been touched, and I had determined 1,000 times that I would follow the pointless pattern to some sort of conclusion. I know a little of the principle of design, and I know this thing was not arranged on any laws of variation, or alternation, or repetition, or symmetry, or anything else I ever heard of. It's a repeated of course fetid beds and not otherwise. Look at in one way each bed. Stand along the bloated curves and the flourish, a kind of devious luminous, with a delirium tremens, go waddling up and down isolated forms in patterns. But, on the other hand, they connect diagonally in sprawling outlines run up to great slanting waves of comic horror, like swallowing seaweeds in a pool chain. The whole thing goes horizontally too at the lazy seam, so I assess myself trying to distinguish the order of its going to that direction. They have used horizontally breadth of frieze and it adds wonderfully to confusion. There is one in the room where it's almost dusk, and there, when the gross lights fade and the low sunshine are directly upon it, I can almost fancy radiation of it all. The interminable gross dust seems to come around the common center and brush its head along, flash a quad distraction. It makes me feel tired to follow it. It makes me snap, I guess. I don't know why I should write this. I don't want to. I don't feel able. I know John would think absurd, but I must say I feel and think in some way. It's such a relief, but the effort's getting greater than relief. Half the time now I'm awfully lazy and lie down every so much. John say I must lose my strength and has make cold liver and lots of tonic and things. To say something of ale, wine, and rare meat. Dear John, who loves me very dearly and hates me to have me sick. I try to have a real earnest reason about it, to talk him with the other day and tell him I wish he would let me go and make visit cousin Harry and Julia. But he said I was able to go nor are able to stand if other I got there, and I did not make a very good case for myself for I was crying before I had finished. It's getting to be a great effort for me to think straight. Just this nervous weakness, I suppose. And dear John gathered me up in his arms and just carried me upstairs and laid me on the bed and sat by me and read to me until he tied my head. He said I was his darling and his comfort all in the head, and I must take care of myself for his sake and keep well. He says no one but myself can help me out. It. I must use my self-control and not let my silly fancies run away to me. There was comfort the baby is well and happy, and does not have to occupy this nursery with a hurried paper. If we had not used in a blessed child would have, what a fortunate escape! Why wouldn't have the child of mine? Impressionable little thing, living in such a room for rights. I never thought of it before, but it's luckily that John kept me here. After all, I can't stand so much easier than a baby, you see. Of course, I never mentioned to them anymore. I am too wise, but I kept watch all the time. There are things in paper and nobody knows but me or ever will. Behind the outside pattern, the dim shape is clearly every day. It's always the same shape, only very numerous. And it's like a woman stooping down and creeping about behind the pattern. I don't like it. I wonder, I begin to think. I wish John would take me away from here. It's so hard to talk with John about my case because he's so wise and because he loves me so. But I tried it last night. It was a moonlight. The moon shines all around the sun does. I hate to see it sometimes. It creeps so slowly and always comes in by one window or another. John was asleep and I hated to awaken him, so I kept still and watched the moonlight on the undulating wall in a paper till I felt creepy. The faint figure behind us seemed to shake the pattern just if she wanted to get out. I got up softly and ran to feel and see the paper did move, and when I came back John was awake. "What is it, little girl?" he said. "Don't go walking about like that, you will get cold." I thought it was a good time to talk, so I told him that I really was nothing gaining here, and that I wished he would take me away. "Why, darling," said he, "our lease will be up in 3 weeks, and I can see how to live before. The repairs are not done at home, and I cannot possibly leave town just now. Of course, if you were in any danger, I could at work. But you really are better, dear, whether you can see or not. I'm a doctor, dear. I know, you're gaining flesh and color, your appetite is better. I feel really much easier about you. I don't weigh a bit more," said I. "Nor as much, and my appetite may be better in the evening when you are here, but it's worse in the morning when you are away." "Bless your little heart," said he, with a big hug. "She'll be as sick as she please. But now let's improve the shining hours of going to sleep and talk about the morning." "And you won't go away?" I asked gloomily. "Why, how can I, dear? It's only 3 weeks more, and then we will nice little trip of a few days while Jenny is getting the house ready." "Really, dear, you are better. Better in body, perhaps." I began to stop short, but he sat up straight, and looked at me such a stern, reproachful look that I could not say another word. "My darling," said he, "I beg of you, for my sake and our child's sake, as well as your own, that you will never for one instant let that idea enter your mind. There is nothing dangerous or fascinating to a temperament like yours. It's all false and foolish fancy. Can you not trust my position when I tell you so?" So of course I said no more on that score, and we went to sleep before long. He thought I was asleep first, but I wasn't. I lay there for hours trying to decide whether that front pattern and back pattern really did move together and separately. On a pattern like this, by daylight, there's the lock sequence, a defiance of law, is a constant irritant and normal. The color is hideous enough and unreliable enough and infuriating enough, but the pattern is torturing. You think you have mastered it, but you just get work underway in following. To turn black somersault, and there you are. It slaps you in the face, knocks you down, and tramples upon you. It's like a bad dream. The acid pattern is a florid arabesque, reminding one of the fungus. If you can imagine a toadstool, it joins an interminable string of toadstools, budding and sprouting in endless convolutions. Why there's something like it. That is, sometimes. There is one marked peculiarity about this paper. Nothing nobody seems to notice but myself, and that's the changes in light changes. When the sun shoots in through the east window, I always watch for the first line, a straight ray. It's changed so quickly that I never quite believe it. That is why I watch it always, by moonlight. The moon shines in all night when there is a moon. I wouldn't know it was the same paper. At night, in any kind of light, in twilight, candlelight, lamplight, and reversed by moonlight, it becomes bars, the outside pattern I mean, and the woman behind is as plain as can be. I didn't realize for a long time what the things what the showed behind, the dim sub pattern, but now I'm sure quite it's a woman. By daylight, she's subdued white. I fancy this pattern that keeps her so still. It is so puzzling, and it keeps me quiet by the hour. I lay down ever so much now. John said it good for me, and to sleep all I can. Indeed started to have it making me lie down for an hour after each meal. It's a very bad habit, I'm convinced. For you see, I don't sleep. And that cultivates deceit, for I don't tell them I'm awake. Oh no. The fact is I'm getting a little afraid of John. He seems very queer sometimes, and even Jenny has an inflexible look, and strikes me occasionally just a scientific hypothesis, and that perhaps it's the paper. I have watched John and he did not know I was looking. and come into the room suddenly on the most innocent excuses, and caught him and several times looking at the paper, and Jenny too. I caught him with her hand at once. She didn't know I was in the room, and when I asked her in quiet, a very quiet voice, with the most restrained manner possible, what she was doing in the paper, she turned around as if she had been caught stealing, and looked quite angry, asked me why I'm still frightened her so. Then she said that paper stained everything in touch, that she had found yellow smooches on all my clothes and jacks, and she wished we would be more careful. Did not that sound innocent? But I know she was studying the pattern, and I determined the body should find it myself. Life is very much exciting now than it used to be. You see, I have something more expect to look forward to watch. I really do it better and more quiet than I was. Jen is pleased to see it improve. Laughed at me the other day, and I seemed flourishing in spite of my wallpaper. I turned away the laugh. I had no intention of telling him it was because of this wallpaper he would not make fun of me. He might even want to take me away. I don't want to leave now until I have found it out. There is a week more than, and I think this will be enough. I'm feeling ever so much better. I don't sleep much at night, for it's so interesting to watch developments. But I sleep a good deal in the daytime. In the daytime, it's tiresome and perplexing. There are always new shoots on the twinkles and new shades of yellow all over it. I cannot keep count of them, though I have tried conscientiously. It's as strange as yellow, that wallpaper. It makes me think of all the yellow things I ever saw. That beautiful ones like the buttercups, but all fall and bad yellow things. But there is something else about the paper. The smell. I noticed in the amount we came into the room, but with so much air and sun it was. Not bad. Now we had a week of fog and rain, and whether the windows are open or not smells here. It creeps all over the house. I find her over in the dining room, Scully in the parlor, hiding in the hall, lying awake for me on the stairs. It gets into my hair, even when I got to write. If I turn my head suddenly in surprise, if there is that smell. Such a particular odor too. I have spent hours trying to analyze is to find what smell like this. It's not bad at first and very gentle but quite subtless. Most enduring odor I ever met. In damp weather it's awful. I wake up in the night and I find hanging over me. The use that disturbed me at the first, I thought seriously of burning the house to reach the smell. But now I'm used to it. The only thing I cannot obtain is like call up the paper, a yellow smell. There is a very funny mark on this wall, low down near the mopboard. A streak runs around the room. It goes behind every piece of furniture, except the bed, along straight, even smoke have been rubbed over and over. I wonder how it was done, who did not, what they did for it. Round and round and round and round. It makes me dizzy. I really have discovered something at last. Through watching so much at night, when it changes so, I have finally found out the frozen pattern doesn't move, and no wonder the one behind the shake it. Sometimes I think there's a great many women behind, and sometimes it's only one, and she crawls around fast, with the crawling shakes all over. Then in the very bright spots, she keeps still, and in the very shady spots, she just takes hold the bars and shakes them hard. And she all the time trying to climb through, but nobody could climb through the pattern. It's triangle. I think that's why it has so many heads. They get through and then pattern strangles them up and turn them upside down and make their eyes white. If those heads were covered or taken off, it wouldn't be half so bad. I think that woman gets out in the daytime. Then I'll tell you why, privately. I even see her. I can see her at every one of my window in the same moment. I know for she always creeping, and most women do not creep by daylight. Is here at the long shaded lane, creeping up down. Is here in those dark creeping all around the garden. Is here on the long road under the trees, creeping along, and when a carriage comes to hide under the blackberry vines. I don't blare her bit. It must be very humiliating to be caught creeping by daylight. I always lock the door when I creep by daylight. I can do it at night, for I know John will suspect something at once. And John is superior now, but I don't want to irritate him. I wish he would get another room. Besides, I don't want anybody to get that woman out naked but myself. I often wonder if I could see her out all the windows, but turn as fast as I can always see it one of them. And though I always see her, she may be able to consider can turn. I have watched her sometimes away in open country, keeping as fast as I travel in her room. If only the top pattern could be buttoned up from the underground, I mean to try little by little. I have found up another funny thing, but I shan't tell it this time. It does not to trust people too much. There are only two more days to get this paper up, and I believe Chan is beginning it. I don't like the looks in his, and I heard him ask Jenny a lot of professional questions about me. She had a very good report to keep. She said I slept a good deal in the daytime. John knows I don't sleep very well at night, so I'm surprised. He asks me all the sort of questions and pretend to be very loving and kind, if, as if I couldn't see the truth. Still, I don't wonder I saw sleeping under his paper for 3 months. It all interests me, but I was sure that John and Jane are severely affected by it. Hooray! This is the last day, but it's not enough. John is to stay in town overnight. I won't be out until this evening. Jenny wanted to sleep with me slightly, but I told her I should undoubtedly rest better when I'm not alone. That's what a clever, for really I wasn't alone with. As soon as it was moonlight, and the furtive began to crawl and shake the pattern, I got up and I ran to help her. I pulled and shook, I shook and shivered, and before morning we had a built up yards of the paper, a strip about as high as my head and a half around the room. And when the sun came in, the awful fire began to laugh at me. I declared I will finish today. We go away tomorrow, and they are moving all my furniture down again to leave decent as they were before. Jenny looked at the wall in amazement, but I told her merely that I did it out of pure spite of the vicious thing. She laughed at and she wouldn't mind doing it herself, but I must not to get tired. How she betrayed herself that time! But I'm here, and no person touched this paper but me, not alive. She tried to get me out of the room. It was too painful, but I said it was quiet and empty and clean now that I believed I would lay down again and sleep all I could, and not to wake me, even for a dinner. I would call when I woke. So now she is gone, and the servants are gone, and the things are gone, and there is nothing left but a great bedstead nailed up, with a canvas mattress we found. We shall sleep downstairs tonight and take the boat home tomorrow. I quite enjoy the room. Now it's bare again. How those children did care about you? This bedstead is fairly snug, but I must get to work. I have locked the door and thrown the key down in the corner flat. I don't want to go out, and I don't want to have any come in till Jen comes. I want to astonish you. I got a rope up here that even Jenny did not find. If that woman does not get out and tries to get away, I can tie her. But I forgot I could not reach her without anything stand on. This bed will not move. I tried to lift and push it until I was late, and then I got so angry I bit off a little piece of one corner, but it hurt my teeth. Then, up with all the paper I could reach standing on the floor. Let's stick Harvey and the pattern. Just enjoy it. All the strangle heads and the bulbous eyes and the one with fungus spots. Just trick and reduce. I'm getting angry enough to do something desperate. To jump out the window will be admirable exercise. But the bars are too strong even to try. Besides, I wouldn't do it. Of course not. I know well enough that step like it improper and might be misconstrued. I don't like to look out the windows, even there are so many doors creeping in, and they creep me so fast. I wonder if they all come out of the paper, as I do, but I'm still puzzled out by the well-hidden rope that kept me out in the real term. I suppose I shall have to get back behind the pattern and scan mats, and that's hard. It's so pleasant to be out in the split room and creep around as I please. I don't want to go outside. I won't even try and ask you to. For outside, you have to keep on the ground and everything's green instead of yellow. But here, I can keep smoothly on the floor, and my shoulder just fits in the long smoke around the wall, so I cannot lose my weight. Why there's John on the door? It's no use, my young man. You can open it. Only does call and a pond. Now he's crying for an ox. It will be shame to break down that beautiful door. John dear, said I in a gentle voice. The key is down by the front step under the planting leaf. The silence hung for a few moments. Then he said, very quietly indeed, open the door, my darling. I can't, said I. The key is down by the front door, under the planting leaf. And then I said it again, several times, very gently and slowly, and said it softened that he had to go and see. And he got his. Of course, and came in. He stopped short by the door. What's the matter? He cried. For God's sake, what are you doing? I kept on screaming just the same, but I looked at him over my shoulder. I got at last, said I, in spite of you and Jane. And approved of the most paper so you can put me back. Now, where should the man have painted? But he did, and right across my path by the wall, so that I had to creep over him every time.